Hey, it's Brian Mudd. This is my cheat sheet for Halloween. It's Halloween 2012, and I couldn't think of a better costume than this one. Alright, so Jim's playing along today. This is set to be a record Halloween where more than 70% of us are going to participate today, including the majority of adults. It's not just for kids anymore. It'll be a record year for Halloween expenditures. We're going to spend just under $80 this year. That's up $7 from last year. And we just can't seemingly get enough of Halloween, as oftentimes, it's not just about the day anymore. The average adult is participating in more than 2 Halloween events this year, which means that you probably already participated in one. And if you have the kids around, bring them to our house. We have plenty of candy, and we're set for some fun this evening ourselves. All right, let's get down to it today. The U.S. financial markets are set to reopen. They tested them extensively yesterday, so they feel pretty confident that we're going to be off to a good start. But there is a lot to consider. A lot's happening in Europe. We know this whole situation with Sandy. And then on top of it, you got some big-time corporate news like, the Apple execs, including the developer of iOS, leaving. So Apple could be something to watch closely today. So we're really going to get a quick feel for the U.S. financial markets with tons of earnings reports, all of that other information. By the way, Ford had a really nice surprise yesterday, earning $1.6 billion in profit and showing that while Europe's a mess, they're still operating pretty well otherwise. But let's talk about real estate for a moment. This was big yesterday. Warren Buffett is betting big, and I do mean big, on real estate. If a lot of people just like to see what Warren is interested in as kind of a temperature gauge of where we should be. If you remember, he ended up betting big at the absolute bottom of the U.S. financial crisis on companies like Goldman Sachs, where he put $5 billion of his own money into it, and he earned enormous returns. Well, Warren Buffett yesterday ended up buying Prudential Real Estate's basically agent universe. 75,000 real estate agents, the network. He's going to fold it into the Berkshire Hathaway portfolio. In other words, he's increasing his presence in real estate in the United States by greater than 500%. I mean, that's significant. And not that you needed more information that real estate has been the real winner in 2012 and figures to have a fairly promising future, but Warren Buffett getting behind it that way certainly is something that I think is kind of the exclamation point on the housing story that already has been playing out. Now let's talk about Sandy's economic impact real quick. You might be surprised by this. I was thinking of going there yesterday, but I didn't know that it would be well placed in the moment when we were still assessing damage. But now you're starting to hear estimates about Sandy's economic impact floating out there. So here's the question. Can Sandy actually have a positive economic impact? Sounds kind of callous, as you have millions of people that are still suffering and dozens that actually ended up dying as a result of Sandy. But short term, the answer very well could be yes. You might have heard me utilize information that I derived from a survey that was conducted by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce that I participated in back in my small business days. One in which a dollar spent in the local community, on average, touches 7 different hands. This is if you go and patronize a local business, touches 7 different hands before it leaves the local community. So in other words, a dollar spent at a mom and pop store oftentimes is worth $7 by the time it's done. Whereas if you take a dollar to, let's say a national company that happens to be doing business in your area, the economic impact tends to be about $3 to $4. With that in mind, there is now an estimate out there that we could actually see $20 billion worth of damage from Sandy that insurance claims will be filed for and money recovered, that could end up producing $100 billion in economic impact to that area. In other words, the estimate is that in the mix of the rebuilding effort, $1 worth of insurance money will touch 5 hands before it leaves the affected area. And I can get on board with that concept, so I do think it's possible. Here's the bigger problem. Yes, it looks like there could end up actually being positive short-term impact from the rebuilding of Hurricane Sandy in the area. The bigger problem are the long-term implications. Affordability becomes less, and we oftentimes have fewer insurance companies. Remember that, as these insurance claims are paid out, you're going to see insurance rates rise, especially in the affected areas. But even for the areas that aren't, that just have similar policies like we do, hello hurricanes, and over the course of time, we know that makes life in everyday living and owning a home less and less affordable. So yes, it's kind of like that short-term sugar fix, and it will give likely a boost to the economy that's affected. But over the long term, it'll make everything a little bit less affordable for all of us. So I don't completely buy into the notion that it's a positive economic impact over the longer run. All right, that's the cheat sheet for today. I got plenty more on the physical cheat sheet, including Google's confirmation of all of the new products and why their new Nexus 4 phone is not worth you even looking at it. The tablet's not so bad. All right, that's the cheat sheet for today. Happy Halloween. See you tomorrow.